We got news. Okay. Comey, that would be one James Comey, may have actually orchestrated some kind of honeypot to try and ensnare and entrap the now president of the United States, who was campaigning for the presidency as the Republican nominee back in 2015 and 2016. What we've learned is that actually they put a couple of agents. There was an FBI agent that they put into his inner circle. She's apparently still at the FBI. The other was somebody who's gotten promoted onto the CIA. And so they're trying to be very careful, I guess, at the FBI, even with Kash there, to try and protect this woman's identity. CIA, same sort of thing. But I'm like, okay, so who was this? Because she was apparently part of the inner circle, which means I'm like, wait, was she on TV? Did I interview her? What was going on? Okay, and this new whistleblower, actually, this came forward first courtesy of the Washington Times, so I have their headline up here. New FBI whistleblower disclosures reveal agent who infiltrated Trump's campaign a decade ago. And you say, oh, well, it's a decade ago. Who cares? I'll tell you, I care. I sure as heck care, because if it happened then, it can happen again, and it can't happen at all right? If we're going to have a fair system in this country, you can't have rogue regimes running around trying to take down their opponents by infiltrating them with, I mean, come on. Honeypot traps? I mean, he's got Melania, all right? That's all I'll say. Like, you should have been more clever than that. Anyway, according to the protected whistleblower disclosure, the female agent involved was trying to work as an undercover agent. There were two of them, and they were targeting the Trump team, and specifically, apparently, Donald Trump. Unbelievable. So now the FBI, led by Kash Patel and our good friend Dan Bongino, who's just going to do a bang-up job no matter what the New York Times is trying to say about him. And believe me, they're saying all kinds of things, accusing him of not liking commies. You know what? I don't like commies either. All right? Anyway, I just don't get it. New FBI leadership appointed by Mr. Trump is starting an investigation into the origins of the agency's plan a decade ago to gain access to Mr. Trump's orbit. And they were doing this with two female undercover honeypot agents. The off-the-books probe was revealed by an agency whistleblower in a protected disclosure to the House Judiciary Committee last year and first reported exclusively by the Times in October. And I can't believe that I missed that in October. But apparently one or more individuals who were FBI employees at the time, the incidents, they were in the position to know that this was going down. They have now provided information to the Senate Judiciary Committee, and they have protected disclosures that were reviewed by the Times. I'm like, oh, okay, wow. So here's the Fox News report on it earlier today. Let's take a quick listen.
Planned to infiltrate President Trump's first campaign by using two undercover agents in a so-called honeypot operation.
Incredible.
Todd Pyro joins us with details. Todd.
This is big. Under the leadership of new FBI Director Kash Patel and Deputy Director Dan Bongino, the Bureau has reportedly launched an investigation into the agency's plan to infiltrate President Trump's first campaign using two female undercover agents. The Washington Times reporting that the program was launched in 2015 by then FBI Director James Comey. The honeypot scheme was actually kept off the books, and according to a whistleblower, Comey's investigation was separate from Crossfire Hurricane. You, of course, know that as the FBI's operation that looked into allegations Trump's campaign colluded with Russia. A whistleblower disclosure says, quote, the case had no predicated foundation, so Comey personally directed the investigation without creating an official case file in Sentinel or any other FBI system. The FBI has multiple methods of protecting highly sensitive investigations, so Comey did not have a legitimate reason not to officially create an official investigation file or have a file number. FBI leaders are reportedly looking for those once undercover agents who are said to have infiltrated the Trump campaign at high levels. Back over to you.
This story is insane. Thank you so much, Todd. The whistleblower said that Comey personally directed it and using two female undercover agents as honeypots. They say it usually refers to an undercover operative who feigns sexual or romantic interest to obtain information on a target. So were these honeypots targeting Donald Trump? Were they targeting people on his team? Were they women that we were seeing on air all the time traveling with him?
If this is true, he's a dirty cop. And this is the same thing that is alleged that they did the same thing to Martin Luther King Jr. as well and recorded him to use as leverage. So the FBI, which was supposed to have reformed if this report is true, apparently never reformed at all.
Yeah, J. Edgar Hoover moved. James Comey always said he was above it all.
I was just going to say that. J. Edgar Hoover move. Wow. Okay, so Comey, if this is true, Lawrence is right. He is a dirty cop. He's a bad dude. He went in there and ran an off-the-books operation trying to ensnare and entrap Donald Trump and others around him, I guess. I mean, this is bonkers. And you know, he's got to know this is all coming out. He's got to know. He was just on MSNBC in like May of 2024 saying like Donald Trump cannot get elected because if he does, he's going to go back after us all. And, you know, the whole FBI is going to just disintegrate. It's going to be a mess. It's like he knew this could be found out. Watch.
When you think about a second Trump administration, what do you think the implications would be for the FBI?
Oh, serious, for the Justice Department and the FBI, because Trump is coming for those institutions. He knows their power, and I think he has regrets that he didn't work hard enough to corrupt them last time. So he's coming for them, and that's a danger for all Americans. He's going to put people in positions in those organizations. He didn't have all-stars the last time. He'll have the bottom of the barrel this time, but people who will want to do his will, and that should worry every American. This election matters. Because of a reason like that, people have to participate. You cannot sit on the sideline. I don't care how you feel about Joe Biden, you must vote for him because the consequences on the other side are too severe.
Oh my gosh. Right. I don't care if the guy can't get out of bed in the morning or can't even breathe anymore. You just got to vote for him because the consequences are that. The consequences are bad for you, buddy, if what is alleged is true. Because if these allegations are true, we get some problems. I mean, and by the way, don't forget what they did with the darn FISA warrant. Don't forget about that. I mean, they were tapping the phones of the Trump campaign, tapping into Trump Tower, because they got a FISA warrant for Carter Page based on fake stuff, based on a dossier that had been bought and paid for by Perkins Coie, which is the law firm that was working for Hillary Clinton's campaign, which went out and hired Fusion GPS, bunch of investigative reporters, which were really just fiction writers, who went out and got Christopher Steele, the ex-British spy, who used to work for the Moscow Bureau for the UK. Oh, and guess what? They came up with a whole concocted piece of garbage. I read it. It doesn't even read like an intelligence document. It reads like opposition research, okay? Bad stuff. And then they used that to go get the FISA warrant. But in this case, they didn't even have a record of anything. They weren't even getting any FISA warrants. They were just going out and allegedly doing what they thought they should do with an off-the-books effort to try to take down this man who they worried was going to become the president of the United States. Right? And don't forget, that was their worry because they had a system in place. I mean, they were doing very well. They had 8 years of Obama, and they really wanted to continue all that they had with none other than Hillary Clinton, who in and of herself is a whole other problem, right? I mean, you got the server stuff. That still hasn't been resolved. You got the CGI stuff, Clinton Global Initiative. One of the investigators of the CGI Global Initiative, he actually contacted me recently, and I learned a lot from him, but I'm telling you, a lot of questions there. He said it was never even properly registered as a charity. He's the guy who said in Haiti, for example, with all the millions and millions and millions of dollars that they were collecting, only 10% of it made its way to the people. So what was this, some kind of giant money laundering operation?